relatively short update. I'm just gonna keep this straightforward, and that I think I am going to drop this project now, all because I'm not happy with it at all, and I don't really like to continue working on something if you're not happy. I don't see the point in it, and then you can just say, oh, but you're just being a little whiny, person about it. You don't want to power through it, or you can't do it. And say, maybe, but I'm not happy with this at all. I'll tell you why. Grid setting, it's 0.01. You don't need a 0.01 grid setting, I found out. 1.27 millimeters would have been just fine, and if you linked up all these pins to 1.27 and your component, everything would have been fine and dandy. Everything would have connected nicely. I've had a nightmare of connecting all these things up because they just didn't match with the grid settings, and it's just so finicky. I've had to like copy, so like Control C, and then kind of like place it on there. So you see that, I don't know if it will appear. I don't know why it's not appearing, but there's supposed to be like that. So that black mark there, I was kind of just lining it up with the pins, and then making a line there so it ensure a connection, and it was horrible to do. So as you see, there's not everything's just messed up. It's just these tiny little things, and at first it was like okay, like it to me I was quite proud of it for the start, but now it's just way too. It's just way. You could just see all the fine little details that are not needed. I would much rather start on a clean slate and redo it all again for a different reason. So I laid out the board anyway. I didn't connect anything. I just laid it out, and it's massive. It's about 270 millimeters. It is a massive big boy because of the batteries and stuff. Honestly, I should have thought of like sticking everything on the bottom side and separating it out. So right now everything is well, if I did continue, this would have to go on the bottom of the board, which is fine. Just have a big base because of the batteries, and should just put the batteries underneath anyway. It would have been so much more better, but because I've chosen through, I'll have to reorganize everything. We can change the SMD or SMT parts, and if I was just the cost that it's adding up to. So, and maybe I should have done 3 separate boards anyway, because even though if I put it on the bottom, I still have this protruding bit out here, and now it's supposed to for the OLED display, so you could see what temperature it was running at inside and whatnot. And but yeah, now it's just, I don't know, it's just so messy, and I'm not pleased with it at all. I'm not pleased with it at all. So if you look back here, go to the sheet. Even this part, it's just like 2 pieces. The micro itself, this was a nightmare because of the grid settings again. I'm not sure if even this would work, and after iteration, it can be a nightmare to change everything. So what would I say to do right for next time? Have a clear idea of what you want to do first. Draw it out, draw how the product would look like. See where you want to place the boards, have a deep thought about it, and don't just wing it as it goes by, because this is topic for it. I thought it was 1.2. So have a deep thought about it, how your product's going to look like, where the boards are going to be placed, and how's everything going to be connected. Instead of just winging it like I did, and you won't end up with this mess. The temperature sensor had to be removed because I was going to go on a different board. So because if I kept on the same board, it'd have to be exposed, and I didn't really like the fact of a heat pad and the electronics being exposed. I wanted it to be like a flat layer in case something did go wrong or whatever. So, but yeah, what can you do? What can you do? I'm just unhappy with it all, and I just want to start fresh again. Do it properly this time. But it's all learning experience. I did learn a lot from this. I did have lots of fun placing down components and whatnot, coming up with the initial design for this. And even though I didn't finish it at all, I'm going to finish the next one for sure and build it out. I think I might start with something smaller, maybe to bring down the cost a little bit, but it's coming up with something. Honestly, money is always a big issue with this, and I've just selected components for, like, even though they cost like £6 for like some ICs, like who the heck pays £6 or something, try and bring costs down a bit and save a lot of money on it. So overall, I would recommend to starting out is have a clear idea, write it down, document it down. What you're going to do is stick to it, follow that plan through, make sure your grid settings, everything all right. So before you start laying down components, keep to something and stick to it. Have a size constraint for your board to adhere to, and that will give you a clear definition of how big you want something to be, and you can work around those things. An enclosure selection also would have been nice, but even though after this, let's say with this, still have the enclosure and everything to make, and that's another few months of doing it. And I feel like I started this project as a way to learn, and I feel like I've got my learning value out of it, even though I did not build it yet. I didn't want to waste any more time on it because, as I said, it is a learning project. I did learn on how to use KiCad a bit more, learned about design procedures and whatnot, learned to actually read the data sheets and everything because it will affect me greatly. And a bit more about component selection and placement and all. So it's the bits and pieces I took out from this has made it worth it, I'd say, even though I did not complete it. But I'm thinking for the next one of a gas sensor almost. So normal gas sensors on the board to place in your home. Battery powered, maybe with some solar panels, renewable. So battery powered with some solar panels. Let's see how that goes, but it can always change. Not too sure what I want to do next. See if I can finish that one. But that's all from this.